Why do men tend to be more violent than women? Are there benefits to violence? How did it start, and has mankind's violent nature evolved? These are just a few topics to be discussed at CARTA's Male Aggression and Violence in Human Evolution Symposium at the Salk Institute next week. Here with a preview is Ajit Varki, professor of cellular and molecular medicine at UC San Diego. Ajit, you co-founded CARTA, which is sponsoring this symposium at Salk next week. What is CARTA and what is its mission?
So CARTA is the Center for Academic Research and Training in Anthropogeny, and its mission is to understand the origins of humans, where we came from and how we got here. And we try to use every possible ethical and intellectual approach to this problem.
So that might sound similar to anthropology, which it's different. What is the difference between anthropogeny and anthropology?
So anthropology is a much broader study of humans. For example, one may study the Mayan civilization or study behaviors or cultures and so on, and also study humans, of course, in every way. Anthropogeny is very much rooted in anthropology, but it also brings in other people like neuroscientists or geneticists or biochemists or people of different backgrounds to address the same question. So it's a focus on the origins as opposed to the whole species.
What are some of the key talking points for prehistoric human aggressions that are going to be covered at the symposium?
So one of the long-standing questions, I should rephrase as saying that I'm not the expert, I'm just telling you about what's going to come on, is that are humans naturally violent, or did we learn to be violent culturally? And I don't think there's a final answer to that question. That'll be part of the discussion. And the idea is that by looking at people who are still in their quote-unquote natural state, they're not yet in agriculture and not yet in civilization, so-called hunter-gatherers, can we learn something from them? So there'll be a lot of comparisons of different hunter-gatherers across the world.
And there will also be a focus on male aggression in violence, as the title suggests. Why focus on that, do you think?
So there's a very obvious fact that everyone ignores or doesn't talk about a lot, which is the great bulk of physical violence and aggression on the planet in every society is perpetrated by males. And this is true of many species, but not all species. And the level of relatively difference in violence is quite striking in humans, that males are the perpetrators.
You will also be speaking, I believe, about nonviolence at some point in the symposium. How does that fit into the conversation about violence?
So, I'm from India. My grandfather was a friend of Gandhi, so I have to say something about that at the end. I'm just making closing remarks, and I wanted to contrast the fact that despite the fact that human males seem to be built or evolved for aggression, a human male like Gandhi was able to come up with this amazing concept of nonviolence that had never been heard of before on the planet. And that shows you that humans are this strange mixture of nature and nurture, genes and culture. We can take the same genes that come out with a completely different outcome using our culture, and that's Gandhian nonviolence is an example of that.
What do you hope comes out of this human violence symposium in regards to bringing these scientists and these research together on this very narrow subject? Do you think some answers will come out of this?
I think some answers will come out of it, but what will really come out of it is more research and more interactions. There are people speaking on how the brain works, people speaking on hunter-gatherers, others talking about chimpanzees and lions for comparison. And all of these people will start talking to each other over the next day or two after that, and then eventually talk to others across the world. And the final product will not be a single product of some kind, but it will be a series of research papers that may come over in the next few years, which will stimulate more thought in the field.
Professor Ajit Varki, thank you very much for that update. And I want to let folks know that the CARTA's Male Aggression and Violence in Human Evolution Symposium opens to the public on Friday, May 16th. For further details, go to kpbs.org.